Welcome to Best Friends of Franchising. I'm Morgan Noller.
And I'm Catherine Allen.
If you're curious about franchising, exploring new opportunities, or looking to diversify your portfolio, you're in the right place. We talk myths, money mindset, and everything in between. Let's dive in. Catherine, we have a really special guest with us today. Please introduce who we have.
You stole the words right out of my mouth. We do have a very special guest on today, and not just because he's the CEO of our franchise system, Youth Athletes United, but because he's someone who knows what it takes to build and scale winning brands and also to do it with heart and innovation. Adam Geisler has spent his career driving growth across the sporting goods, apparel, and footwear industries, leading a global 500 million business and now helping grow one of the fastest rising sports performance startups on the market. We're so excited, Adam, to have you on today to share what you've learned about leadership, entrepreneurship, and building businesses that last. So, welcome, Adam. Thanks for coming on.
This is great. I would just do phone calls with you guys anyway. Like, this is great.
Let's just pretend we're on a phone call. Adam, you built one of the biggest youth sports platforms in the country. For anyone who might not know the full story, can you tell us how this all got started and what makes Youth Athletes United so special?
Yeah. So, I say a lot in our business. We get lucky, we make luck happen. And I think you do a lot in life, and especially in sports, to put yourself in the best position to win. And so, over time, I've always had a role in the sports side of business. I was at Everlast, the boxing brand, for 10 plus years. I went to another innovative sports textile startup to learn what it was like to be an entrepreneur. And then I was at a big licensing company that acquired brands and built them. So they were acquisition entrepreneurs. And so both of my kids went through Super Soccer Stars as consumers. I was not the founder of Super Soccer Stars. And when they went through it, if you lived in New York and your kids didn't go through Super Soccer Stars, you missed a rite of passage. And we realized that just as a consumer, as a marketer, this is the gateway sport, right? It's their first sport experience. And so fast forward, well, I guess 8 years ago, fast forward to my career, there was an opportunity to acquire Super Soccer Stars and amazing athletes. And the second it came up, it was me, myself, and three other partners. We just knew what to do immediately. And so there are two important things to that. One is we knew collectively, all of us, we wanted to be entrepreneurs, but we also knew, much like a franchisee, we needed a base. And so we knew we could take something from good to great, but we didn't really understand or just didn't know that our path was going to be acquisition entrepreneurship. And so we bought these two franchise brands that were already established in Soccer Stars and Amazing Athletes. A few years later, TGA, tennis, golf, and pickleball, put them under Youth Athletes United, and we had one vision. We wanted this platform where every kid's an athlete. They had fun while learning the fundamentals of sport. And we really want to reinvent what first sport experience made for the consumer and the parent. And that's really what's led us to our journey today.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Well, obviously we're Soccer Stars franchisees and we love Soccer Stars, but for those listening that don't know, you have a lot of other powerhouse brands like TGA, tennis, golf, and then you also have amazing athletes. Can you speak to this a little bit? Like, how did that vision come together? How did you decide to add these different brands, and what did that look like?
Yeah, so what we collectively do, and you all as franchisees, but just in our space and our brand and platform, is we're in the unintentional play space. So from age, call it 1 to 6, we want our kids to try everything. And we want those to be positive experiences, because we know, and even from coach that teaches classes, if that kid goes to a class and that coach is fun, they will love it. They may love that sport, but they love the activity. If that coach is bad, they have a bad coaching experience, they're like, I'm done. I tried that. I don't want to do anything else. So we have such a big responsibility and opportunity to just give them these positive sport experiences across everything they do. Soccer, multi-sport. We do lacrosse, tennis, golf. We do baseball, soccer. We do a little bit of everything. We want to give them those positive experiences. Then at the age of 6, we want our children to make their own decision, and that's intentional play. You want them to come to that conclusion and say, Mom, Dad, this is what I want to do, and I'm making a decision. And we find that the retention is much better, the enjoyment, and it just becomes something that they own and they become very dedicated to, versus from parents, we don't want to specialize our kids too early. And that's what Youth Athletes United is all about. We like to say we're the number one educational sports program provider in the country because we want to teach those fundamentals, but we want them to have fun while doing it. That is the key success point.
I think you touched on something so important right there, because my son is 9 and my daughter's 5. And all I see are these parents doing this one sport for their child and burning them out completely. They're not enjoying it anymore. They quit that sport, go on to the next one where they could have just been enjoying a few different sports. And then eventually, as they get to a certain age, like 9 or 10, they start to fall away. But it's something that I think across the nation is a struggle right now. The parents are almost living through the children and picking their favorite sport, and then that child gets burnt out because it's just one sport of just constantly drilled into that child. And it should be that they're trying all the different activities, loving every sport, and then deciding what they want to do later.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right, and that is the beauty of when we can take them into more sports specialization. We still want to take them through class-based business or instructional-led business. When we take them back into soccer or back into tennis or golf or pickleball, they're still instructor-led, not parent-led, because we have enough jobs to do as parents, right? Leave it to us. We want to bring in the coaches, and we want to bring in curriculum and bring in things that are very fun, but we know there are these amazing athlete stories of, Tiger Woods starting at 2 and you see him barely be able to big, the club's the size of him. And parents want that for their child and think, if I don't start now, oh my gosh, they'll never get there. And it's the exact opposite. Let them get there on their own and they will still win.
So true.
With the instructor comment you made about the coach, and if it's the best coach ever, they're going to love it, right? And if it's not, they're never going to want to do it again. That actually happened in my market where we have a competitor here, and it was so bad that the kids hated the sport. And so when I reached out to some of my friends when I first started Soccer Stars, I'm like, hey, come try a free class, check out this program. They're like, oh my gosh, we did this other program. It was so bad. Like, we had to step in as parents. The coaches were doing such a poor job, but it traumatized them. You're right. And so I was able to get them to come around. They tried our program. They loved it. They're still doing it. It's fantastic. But yeah, and that's why Morgan and my job as franchise owners at Soccer Stars, I mean, I say this all the time, like, the coaches are our product. Like, that's the most important part of our business is our coaches. And so that's why so much goes into ensuring that we hire, we train, we retain those top amazing coaches. And Morgan, I haven't had a chance to tell you this, but my rock star team of coaches, a few of them are going to be going to Davis next year, but it's in your territory. So they're going to have the opportunity. Mateen, Arian, they could be. This is also the beauty of franchising. I mean, Morgan and my territories, I wouldn't even say they're not next to each other. They're not. They're
and
not.
they couldn't be more different. They're just complete opposite, like the way that it's
But
laid out.
Morgan has been you've been looking to develop Davis more. And I legitimately these guys have been with me 2 years now, and I'm going to cry because they're my family. But I'm so happy that they can go to you and help build your business because they are amazing. And so that's just, I don't know. Isn't that fun? I'm going to announce that to you on this podcast
That's
right here.
amazing. Get ready, Davis. We're coming for you.
Get ready, Davis. Yeah, you're gonna blow up. You're gonna blow up. So let's change kind of lanes.
I'm going to talk. There you go. You froze for just a minute, but I'll cut it out. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's talk about the people behind the success, Adam. When you think across all of your brands, thinking of your top performing franchise owners, what traits do they have? What mindsets? Like what sets them apart and why are they successful?
Yeah, we get this question so many times, and you're right. We could have the best tools, best brand, but so much of it comes down to an individual. And so what's always interesting in franchising is you get into it because you want to be your own boss, right? And what better thing in life than to be your own boss? But man, it comes with a lot of personal drive and dedication that not everybody always has. And so, we really pride ourselves in some of the business success coaches that we have. Cindy Taylor, I know, is on your podcast. And, some people are just naturally born to wake up every single day. They have those innate abilities to drive, and the two of you are great examples of that. Constantly drive their business, look past adversity, learn how to turn no's into maybes or yeses, or just don't stop at a no, right? I mean, Morgan, we've talked about it a bunch of times. You just keep finding your angles, just like in sports. And that's that competitive nature. There's some franchise owners that just don't always have that drive. And so the ones that are successful tend to find that drive, that can do attitude, and tend to just turn obstacles into opportunities. And ones that constantly have something that gets in the way, sometimes they're very personal moments. Sometimes there are life happens moments, but just can't see their way past obstacles and finds excuses of why I can't do something today, or just roadblocks that stop them in their path. Those are ones that sometimes they still get there and they just take longer, or they just need somebody else. And so, we can still spend time with them, or we'll set up former franchise owners that are coaching them through, and they just need more of an accountability coach just in life to get them there. They can still be successful, but the top are the ones that just every day just know how to push themselves, and they were truly born to be their own boss, and they just know how to make this thing great.
And I think you do such a good job, Adam, and the team of making sure that we have all that support, because I know with my competitor being so strong in my territory, it could have been a deterrent, but instead the whole team's been rallying to try and help us figure out how to skirt around these obstacles, and definitely turn those no's into maybes or even yeses. And I don't think a lot of franchises do that enough with their franchisees. They hear the negativity and they're like, oh, move on to the next franchisee, or they'll have to just figure it out on their own. But no, like, you guys get on the phone, you call us, you check in with us. It's incredible. And you have so many franchisees. I don't know how you do it.
I don't know either. Luckily, we have a couple other, but not just myself. We kind of we have a very always on mentality, but to be there and support, and it's not easy. And I heard, a horror story, just as you talk about franchisors. A friend that I met recently at a conference, he's a top 10 franchisee and a really reputable franchisor, and he's never met with their CEO. And part of the reason was he actually gave some critical feedback to the franchise, and as a result was really called blackballed, or just prevented from meeting with senior management. Whereas, I mean, you two know we are in a challenge culture. Like, if we don't hear from you, and the two of you are very vocal when we don't do things right, we want to hear that, right? And we create a forum where we don't hide from it, and we put it in Slack, we put it in emails, we have FACs, and we take all that feedback and figure out how do we make it better. And I do think that's the difference between not just the franchisees who are great, but great franchisors, is just being good partners. And we're also not founders. We didn't found these brands, and so sometimes, some founders have that mentality where it's really hard to take feedback or criticism, because I invented this. How are you going to tell me you've only been in the system a year that you know more than I do? No, you were living it on the ground, and so we need you. And so I think both of those things help you and us a lot.
I was going to
I
ask you why
100%.
Soccer Stars is so so amazing, but I think we just nailed it. I think those are
Yeah.
all the reasons.
Well, and also, I mean, yeah, I just want to speak to what you just shared. I mean, you guys, I mean, you make yourself so available, Adam, as a CEO of such a large company. I like Morgan said, I don't know how you do it. You said it too. I don't know how you do it, but the leadership team, the executive leadership team, I mean, Bob, Ruthie, Dean, anyone, John, we text, we call, we Slack, like, you immediately respond. It's so clear that's why when I started talking to you guys, when I was looking at franchises, I just was so impressed by you and the leadership team. And I just knew you'd be such a true partner, and the transparency and the openness it's true. You guys are very transparent and very open, and you make it just like our program of a warm, nurturing, supportive environment is what you do at the top. So we can come to you with those things, and we know you're not going to get mad at us, because or you're not going to get defensive. You're going to come at it with, okay, you hear us, and how can we address this and make our system better and stronger for it. I will say, from my past previous company, because I sat on the other side, they were very concerned with optics. And so, optically, what was presented and shared, and people aren't stupid. Franchisees saw right through that, right? They did. And guess what that created? A culture of distrust. So now they don't trust the top and the leadership, and that creates a very toxic place.
Yeah.
And so you guys, I mean, it is so important when people are out there vetting franchises, for the listeners out there, that you know, those are things they're thinking about when they're asking on those validation calls of franchise owners. I think, Adam, you guys get, what's the award? Franchise Satisfaction Award?
Yeah, FBR, Franchise Satisfaction Award for small
Like,
business. That's really, really important for us, right? And
yeah.
we sit with, Franchise Business Review, which some franchisors do, some don't. FBR is amazing. Courtney Starlings, Michelle, they're amazing women. I think we're going to try to get Courtney on your podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're amazing. But we take every single point. If we're down by 1 point from the previous year, why? Who do we need to talk to? What do we need to do? Hold ourselves accountable and really try to hold ourselves to always beating that score and delivering the best that we can. And also not being afraid to fail either. Sometimes we'll get high scores on technology. Sometimes we'll get beat up a little bit technology. So you could either do one of two things. You could stop innovating, or you keep trying to innovate and just make it better and just make sure you're communicating better as to your why. And I think that constant feedback loop is really important.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
agree.
I don't even know if Adam knows, but I vetted about 7 different franchises when I was talking to soccer stars, and most of them were home services, and then like an avocado toast company that I will not name, but it's very popular still. And I was really looking at all of these, and I got on the validation calls, and it was that culture that we're talking about was just lacking. I just felt like I didn't want to get on a call with these people every week. I didn't want to get on a call with them every month. I just couldn't get across the finish line with any of them. And then at every soccer stars call, Wes jumps on, you jump on, everybody, John. It's just a really good feeling. And you, like Catherine said, knew that the support was there. But you also just mentioned something about tech. And I wanted to ask you, because AI is bigger than ever. We use it daily, I think, Catherine. I don't know. I use it every day. Technology, I have a virtual assistant. I'm really trying to use everything available to me to work really smart so that I don't have to work as hard. I can spend more time with my kids. In your opinion, how is all of this going to shape the youth sports market in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see it? I think it's going to help a lot of franchise owners, but what else do you see?
Yeah, I mean, we really see it and we use this, we beat up this line. You guys know it well, not everybody does, but we always talk about more green time, less screen time, right? And if we can always use it to do a few things, one is enable our franchisees to spend more time with the product, with the consumer, with the parent, with their customers. That's a huge win for us. So if it can do that at scale, if it allows us to have, lower costs on the admin side as we scale. So every single time you grow, it's not adding a person, right? We're able to really scale that labor component for you. So again, you can invest more in coaches, more in your product. That's how I really see it shaping kind of this youth sports, this educational sports business. And I was at a panel, youth conference panel with several other technology providers in the space, League Apps, Team Snap, and they all said the same thing. It's just about how do we give our operators more time to operate with their product, with their customers, versus dealing with admin. So AI can be phenomenal for all of us in really helping us scale in that way.
I love that. And I think I shared on a previous podcast, I would not be as profitable as I am today without AI and the virtual assistants that you guys have coached us to use, being, yeah, because by now I would have had to hire another person, which would have significantly impacted my profitability. Speaking of profitability, um, it's
Good
important,
segue.
right?
Yeah.
Not just the
Yeah.
top line revenue, but building a sustainable, profitable business. So, from your perspective, Adam, why is profitability such a critical focus when evaluating a franchise opportunity? And how does Youth Athletes United help franchisees achieve the balance between growth and strong financial performance?
Yeah, so it's so great. So many people will focus on top line when you're getting into franchising, right? And so Morgan, you probably went through it with home services, and even Catherine, your past life. Some of these home
Yeah.
services, they have $1 million AUVs. That sounds sexy. It sounds exciting, but the reality is, if you don't look at the profitability on the bottom line, I mean, it just you'll never get to that net income, which is really those dollars in your pocket. I mean, ultimately, you want to do well and do good. And if you want to do good, and specifically that's what we want people in Youth Athletes United for, and soccer stars, amazing athletes, you want to do good. And so if you don't see those 10, 20, 30% profit margins in the bottom line, if I'm doing $1 million on a home service, but I'm only taking home 10%, well, I have to put out a lot of capital. What's my return on capital? And so we really focus on that profitability. So what we are in the space of asset light and low cost investment, right? So that is the youth sports space. That's the mobile space that we're in. Why that's unique is if you're looking at brick and mortar or some businesses that are very capital intensive, they might have $1 million AUVs, but you have to put out, call it, 300, $500,000, $700,000 of capital. Some of those might be SBA funded, they might be loan funded, whatever they may be, but there's a lot of capital out. And so what you really want to think through as you're going through all of that is, what is your return on that capital? How long is it going to take for you to get the net income back on $500,000? What if it takes you 3, 4, 5 years to get your original CapEx out? And so we think about debt to income, and we don't want franchisees to think about too many things as they start out. All we care about is you're not putting a lot of capital out up front. There's a $50,000, $49,500 franchise fee. You have $25,000 between marketing and equipment. And if you're getting an SBA loan, you might put out, 10, 20% of that. Then if you're focused on getting to 20 to 30% of profitability, well, we can really timeline out with just very simple chart of accounts, which I'm sure you guys love now, P&Ls, just to focus on how long is it going to take, how profitable are you, and how long will you take for that debt to go away? So that once that debt goes away, that cash flow, that's going into you. And those are the things that you really want to focus on with your franchisees. So looking at those 20 to 30% profit margins with low investments, people can return that capital pretty quick. They may not get to those $1 million AUVs, maybe ever, or maybe that fast. But at the end of the day, it's the dollars that go back into you that's most important. So that's what we really want to focus people on when it comes to financial literacy, and just keep it very simple and very focused.
I'm so glad you do that too, because I think, as I've looked at buying some other companies that were already in business. And when it came down to profit and loss and knowing the numbers, it felt like people really weren't paying attention. And so I really like that you've been focusing on making sure franchisees do that now, not later, not when you're trying to exit in 5-10 years. Do it right now. So when you do want to exit, you're not lost and you're not like, I don't even know the value of my business or where to go with it. So I really appreciate that you do that with all the franchisees across the board.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's been my biggest learning curve in this all, as Adam knows. My financial literacy coming in was not very strong, but that's where YAU, the team, Adam, really helped us with all of that. And I loved when I thought, like, why do I need a bookkeeper? Like, that's not a cost I want to invest in. Oh, well, no. You need a bookkeeper. You need a bookkeeper. And EK does a good job with my books, so I'll give him a shout out on that one. So we love your active kids, better futures mindset. It's such a powerful message. Looking ahead to 2026, what partnerships or initiatives are you most excited about that really bring that vision to life?
Yeah, I mean, so we're going into, as it relates to just soccer specific, and even as it impacts amazing athletes, going into a World Cup year is huge, right? We'll call it 10 plus years ago, we saw participation, right? We saw participation increase by almost 40%. Now, I don't know that we'll see that necessarily happen at the foundational piece of our business, but definitively we'll see more kids participate. We'll see parents more influenced about it and want to get their kids into soccer. So again, more kids getting active is great, right? It's what we want. It's what we want to see, and it's a benefit to us. I think the other thing that we really love seeing is this exponential growth in two areas. Actually, there's three. One is we love seeing in pickleball, because it's that one kind of parent and me sport, right? You can play it with kids at any age. It can be 80 and 10 years old, and it just works, right? And so we love seeing that as this early entry sport that actually guides us into kids playing more racket sports or stick and ball sports, into tennis and some of those other things. So watching that growth. And then I think the two most exciting things that you see, even as a having a 12-year-old daughter, is girls volleyball and girls flag football. Girls volleyball, it's been around for a while, but it's really starting to see it take shape and some really good participation and some good commercialization with professional girls volleyball leagues or women's volleyball leagues that we're really excited to see. But I am just blown away by the impact also of girls flag football. I mean, at every
That's
age,
growing in this
it
area.
is growing, and it's so fun to watch, and it's such a great thing to see just on an equal playing field, girls and boys, and just again anything that keeps our kids active is great as well. And so watching those couple things happen over the next few years is great because as parents of kids, we are constantly defending ourselves against the iPad, against media, and those things that just suck our children in. So how do we get them off those things and be as exciting in real life, give them that same rush that they get through their digital devices? It's not easy, and if we collectively can be a part of that, it's just a great thing to do in life.
It's so true. We were just talking on another podcast that if my son is not active in sports, it's like that box doesn't get checked and he is bouncing off the walls. I don't know what to do with him. Like, it's mentally, his focus completely disappears. He has to be active in sports. It is everything. Health, the mentally, he has to be active always. And the second we take it away, he's a different child. I have to put him in at least one or two sports. Always.
Yeah. And we just had to take YouTube off our TVs, and iPads are getting a strict recall in our house because it's real. It's scary. It is really, I see it with my kids. Like, it's scary just how addictive those things are. And so, yeah, so less screen time, more green time. Absolutely. For sure.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, we want to do like a little rapid fire questions with you. Easy stuff. Catherine, why don't you start with one?
All right. Adam, you ready for this?
Let's do it.
What is your favorite sport to play?
Basketball, hands down. If you asked me when I was a kid at 13 years old, I would told you I was playing collegiate basketball, professional basketball. None of those things ever came true, but I am a good C+ level basketball player, and I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. Favorite sport to watch?
Favorite what?
Sport to watch on TV?
Still basketball. It's still basketball. I can watch professional, college.
Who are your teams? Who are your shout out teams, college and professional?
So, most people would say, I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan, grew up in Texas. They're my diehard. But I've been in New York for 25 years, so I am a Knicks Mavericks fan. If they ever play each other, I don't even know who I'd root for, but I love them both dearly.
Nice.
I love it. I love it. One word to describe great leadership.
Great leadership. One word. Honestly, I think it is determination. I mean, there's a lot of people who are smarter than me. There's a lot of people that are just have so many other talents that I don't have. But I will tell you, put me head to head with them when it's something I'm passionate about, and I will drive. And I just think that determination for myself, the people around me, the people I want to surround myself, or even the franchisees, like I want to be a good example of that for all of you. My kids and just myself as a leader, and it's what drives me every day.
You're such a great leader, Adam. Such a great leader.
I want one for you guys. Can I give you guys one?
Yeah.
So when you guys started doing this, because you talked about optics earlier, Catherine, when you guys started doing this is exactly why I do think where franchisors just don't always think they're like, first, a lot of franchises would be like, oh my God, two of my best franchisees, what are they doing going and franchising? Like, why are they involved in this? And the first time I looked at it, I said, this is phenomenal. They're taking something that we've done well and they want others to be a part of it. And I just want to see, is there anything we can do to help them and kind of partner with on it? And, Catherine, when you and I first talked about it, I just think, again, being around good people, not having egos, and just keeping people aligned of just we're all in the same space to positively impact people, whether it's through sports, whether it's through franchising. And you all have been through those journeys. You want somebody else to have a journey as good, if not better than yours. If it's with us or with somebody else, you don't care. And the fact that you want to spend additional time that you could spend with your family or anything else doing this, it says a lot about the experiences that we've been able to provide you, but just in general, what you want to provide back to other people. And I think it's amazing what you all are doing.
Well, thank you. This is why the podcast exists, because Catherine and I were having these conversations in the car, talking to each other. We were talking franchising, we're talking super soccer stars, we're talking soccer stars, we're talking camps, we're talking all the things, profit and loss and tax and whatever we could talk about. We were always talking about it. We still are. And then we were like, why are we just talking to each other? A lot of people want to know this. We have friends coming up to us saying, I can't believe what you're doing. And you and Catherine, how do you do it? How do you manage? How do you do all that? And so it was just a very easy decision to share this with the world and share Soccer Stars with the world.
Well, and I think it's brought, us so much joy and happiness. Like I love Soccer Stars. I love you, Adam. I love the team. Like it's brought me, I was in such a bad place, like
I
professionally.
remember.
And
I remember.
yeah, and I got laid off at your corporate headquarters. That was awesome because I got laid off and I got a severance, and I was able to, have some income coming in while I launched my business, which was really important. But it also like ripped the Band-Aid, right? Because I think a lot of people who come to us looking for franchising, they're kind of like, they're scared. I get it. Financially, you have set costs, and it's like, we want to go jump and do this, but I have these bills to pay, and starting a business and not having that corporate cush salary, it's a scary thing. And I get that. And that's why I believe the universe does for us what we can't do for ourselves. And the best thing that could have happened was me getting laid off, because I was going to maybe try and figure it out. And then it made me launch into an MVP in my first year of business, because guess what? I had to make money. I had to grow, and I had to do it as quickly as I possibly humanly could. And so that's what I did. And so, hey, that was my journey. And now I just got to maintain that spot. What's up, McKinney? Why is McKinney taking my number one spot?
I love it. I love it.
But anyways, but no, we just want to get the word out to other people. And like you said, Adam, whether it's Soccer Stars, TGA, amazing athletes, or maybe it's another vertical altogether, like being your own boss, owning your own business, it's not easy. It takes a lot of work, but absolutely the pros outweigh the cons, in my opinion. Morgan, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. And I think anyone can own their own business. Yep, anyone can own their own business, but as far as franchising goes, it's just you're going to get there a lot faster, and you'll have a huge support team. And that's going to lead me into our final question, Adam. For anyone listening, what's the advice you'd give them if they're thinking about joining Soccer Stars or another franchise under Youth Athletes United?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think as people start to go through it, one is it is a leap, right? Are you willing to bet on yourself? I mean, I consider myself as much like any other franchisee. When we came into this business, I put my own capital into it because I bet on myself. But there is a leap. You should feel nervous. You should have some excitement. You should have all those emotions. And say the other piece is you cannot do enough due diligence. Anytime somebody comes on, new franchisee, we always say, talk to as many franchisees as you can. You can't talk to enough. We can certainly guide you and say, this might be a good person to talk to, but talk to all of them. And we should only be as good as our personal currency. Some franchisees will say good things about us. Some might say bad. Some might say, listen, I'm not successful, but it's not because of me. It's not because of them. It's because of me, right? But get all those opinions and figure out for yourself what's going to make you successful. But I do think in franchising, doing that really good due diligence and knowing just enough what you're getting into, and know that ultimately it's going to be a leap. What happens in your market is really a lot dependent on you. But feel good about the people around you, invest in the management team, their vision, invest in the franchisors, and also just be passionate about what you're doing. We always say anybody who comes a new franchisee, if they are not passionate and they're in it just for the money, really nice to meet you, but this might not be the right thing for you.
I love that.
Agree.
It's definitely a relationship, and we try and tell clients that too. It's up to the franchisor as well, not just you. You're not a shoo-in. You have to decide if it's right for both parties.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for joining us, Adam.
Yeah, you guys are great, and I love that you're doing this.
Thank you. And if you want to know more about franchising or want to talk to Catherine or I, go to thefranchiseinsiders.com, click on our names, and we'd love to talk to you.
Thanks, everyone.